Director Red mentioned that corrections is challenging, and I think that's a little bit of an understatement. We knew when, as we were talking about corrections, we needed two things, right? We need people that were very, very good at what they do, the very best in the state at their jobs, and we needed them to be good people. Trust in corrections is inclining, not declining.
First letter of each value spells the word SPARK, and the values are service, professionalism, accountability, respect, and knowledge. And when we talk to our staff and when we do our business, we focus on the values of our department.
We envision a safer Utah by providing opportunities for all people to improve. And that really is the core of corrections, is helping people improve. That's those who we supervise, that's also our staff, and everyone that we come in contact with, helping lives change and improve.
The culture of corrections didn't just happen, didn't just change, didn't just improve. It happened because good people made it happen. I always share the story of corrections and what's happening as the example, the model for how we can do state government better.
That's the challenge that I leave for all of you today. Be with your people, experience what they're experiencing, and fight side by side with them to do our work, which can be a challenging and complex work.
I just want to express appreciation to our dedicated staff at the Department of Corrections who quietly go about their duties protecting the public and helping individuals prepare for re-entry into society.
Our mission statement, it's working together, transforming lives, and protecting communities. Everything that we do in the Department of Corrections orients around those three concepts. And we know that as we work together and we transform and improve lives, it creates a safer Utah.
I am hopeful for the future of corrections because you are good people and you are making good things happen.
When I received a phone call from none other than Brian Red asking me to join him at the Department of Corrections to be his Deputy Executive Director. I have to admit, I was a little hesitant, but he and I never backed down from a challenge, and boy, it was the right decision. I firmly believe that we're well positioned to be the premier correctional law enforcement agency in this country. There's no doubt that Director Red's shoes are very big to fill because he's an amazing leader and he's done an amazing job, not only here, but in other stops throughout his career. I've been able to work directly with Brian for the majority of my career, so while I'm definitely not Brian Red 2.0, I'm Jared Garcia. We have a lot of the same overarching leadership philosophies and philosophies about public safety, so I think our staff can really expect little change and just expect that we're going to continue the momentum moving forward that we've all already started. As far as markers and what I'd like to see is I just want leaders that care about their staff and care about public safety and care about the mission and the vision and the values, and just continue to help us to move this agency forward and keep our community safe.
The relief when Jared's nomination was announced, myself and others, that we could continue and feel good that the trajectory that we were going on was going to continue.
We're going to continue to be great listeners, and then we're going to follow up that listening with meaningful action to ensure that they know that not only are we just hearing them and listening, but we understand the challenges they face.
I happened to receive a phone call as I was getting ready to come up here today from Funua Kimwana, who is currently incarcerated at the Utah State Correctional Facility and has been for the last 16 years. Funua serves as the director of the SOLID program. He's also the chair of the IAC committee, which is Incarcerated Individual Advisory Committee. He talked about some of the qualities that he admired in Mr. Garcia, and he also said that I also love that he makes every person that he speaks to feel like a human being. He spent 3.5 hours going to every section in Bear 2 talking to everyone. Just to have that kind of commitment and investment in people's lives is huge, huge, huge. He's got our vote.
Absolutely value relationships. We believe in partnership, and we can't do this work alone. We have to leverage those partnerships and relationships with advocacy groups, with volunteers, with community service providers in order for us to be successful. It's a tremendous honor to be appointed by Governor Cox and his administration, and also accompanied by staff members, colleagues, and my amazing family that I have here with me today. Born and raised in Utah, I grew up on the west side of Salt Lake in Kearns, which is one of the most diverse areas in our state, and I'm proud to be a Kearns Cougar. When I first arrived at corrections, I realized that we have such a challenging mission, an important mission within the criminal justice system, and it's really been an undersold profession throughout my entire law enforcement career. In order for us to be successful and to highlight the great work we're doing, we need a department full of leaders. A title doesn't make you a leader, your actions are what makes you a leader. And I was inspired by a couple of events recently. One of them was where I entered a housing unit really late at night and I saw a sergeant with his crew. And he was just creating an environment where they're working out together, maintaining their physical fitness, leveraging our PT policy and program. And you could tell that they were a tight-knit group, which is important in our profession. But we're going to continue to invest in that, teach people leadership principles, learn from them. I just want to highlight the great work that our department is doing. I want to create a department full of leaders, and I want to show the world the Utah Department of Corrections is full of leaders. And we're going to teach others how to lead. That's what Lead Like UDC means. We're going to set the example, and we're going to be the best correctional agency in the country.
Sometimes you just need guidance in how to fix those issues, and that's what we're here for. My journey started with a correctional officer. You know, it was a correctional officer who believed in me to do something different with my life. When I was in Gunnison, we had something similar to Solid, and it was Prevail up there. And Captain Jennifer Mullins was the one that helped kind of guide me through creating Prevail. And now it's something that Solid is going. Then we came down here, connected with Captain Sasha's courage, and now we're over here working together.
Every single day, somebody has a crisis moment. And the staff here is so willing to help us, let us use these NPR rooms so we can go and have these one-on-one conversations with these individuals.
We're here for you to support you. I truly appreciate you using your person.
The fact that you're more than willing to be a participant in those seminars and teach one, that says a lot.
The time that he spent incarcerated and the time that you spent incarcerated as a stepping stone.
My time locked up taught me a lot of things, and I felt like that my experiences could help others.
We work hand in hand with the officers and the administration. Individuals throughout our time here has always said, you don't know what it's like.
It's important that I'm able to share those experiences with people because that's what helps them.
There's nobody better here that's teacher than somebody wearing the same color shirt I am.
If you change 1% every day, in 1 year, you've changed 365%. And that's a good return.
To know that they can change, to know that they can be a better person, it just takes commitment and a willingness to want to do it.
Nobody's forced to be here. The Board of Pardons ain't telling you to be here. Tell yourself you want to be here. Tell yourself you want to gain something out of life in itself while you're here in prison. It's life-changing. To see somebody that's been in our shoes.
I worked really hard to get here, and so I just want to give that to the people that I work with.
You know, for someone to bring a smile to your face, for someone to bring some sunshine into your life, we're incarcerated and we're feeling like this. What more can you ask for?
It brings tears to my eyes, how much of an impact I really am making. So when I hear those things, then it really kind of solidifies with myself, like what I am doing is working.
I am courageous. I am powerful. I am the best father my children could ever have.
I am optimistic.
I am limitless.
I am extraordinary.
I am creative.
I am confident. I am immovable in my recovery, and I am resilient in how I get up.
I am passionate.
And we are solid.
We are peaceful.
This is so surreal for me to watch this taking place as a state senator. I see this banner here, and I haven't lived in your shoes, but I can imagine feeling the weight of the world. I was down in Gunnison and listened to a group of inmates who were talking about this program. This was the precursor to Solid. I don't know how this works, but all of his basically earthly belongings were in his arms, and he was headed to the other building ahead of me. I just kept my eye on him, paying attention. I don't know what's going on here, but he's moving to this new facility. And then the magic happened because he met the program director, and I just watched him be accepted and the weight of the world leave this man's shoulders, because he had just been introduced to Alfredo Lulani.
So inspirational. You know, guys that had gotten out come back and they would talk to you. And I got a lot from it. You know, I want to be a better father, a better husband, a better son to my parents. So don't think that you guys have gone through this alone. It affects staff. Well, it affected me a lot. Every time I saw somebody down, I saw 2 or 3 of you guys lifting them up. I saw you guys stumble, and others were right there to help. I love listening to your stories. I mean, our stories aren't the same. I've never walked your shoes, but I'm so grateful to have been a part of it.
We all have work to do. Work doesn't end because we graduate. We have a legacy to leave behind before each of us goes home. This goes for staff and residents alike. We are all choosing to be part of the solution, not the problem. Our motto in Solid is changed by culture. We believe that the culture that we all seek, we must live and embody that change before we can expect anyone to change. As Solid was launched, I started to see individuals who never did anything but sit on the block. Now I see them walking to school, attending programming classes, chasing vision, just like you.
It is a mindset. It's a commitment to be better today than you were yesterday, incrementally, but significantly. But despite every challenge, every setback, we kept going. And look at us now. What started with 2 sections has expanded into a full-blown community, all working towards something bigger than themselves. But let me be clear, the work does not end here. This isn't the finish line. It's a checkpoint.
We're well on our way to being the most professional law enforcement agency in this state, and other states are starting to look at us on how to manage departments of corrections. So the transformation here, it signifies our staff, but it's a perfect day because all of you are transforming your lives. And again, I'm going to encourage you to keep down that path and be role models for others and help them to transform their lives. We know that not everybody's in a space that you're in right now, but one day they will be. And so when you see one of your peers that's ready to do that, help them to make the leap.
Now, there's one further name on the list, but I'm not sure if we should recognize this individual, because I seem to believe he's forgotten to wear his whites. Sione Kalbaka, stand up!
The real success of Solid isn't just in what we've done, it's in what we keep doing.
We are Solid. We stay Solid. Rock solid.
After doing 20 years, my purpose awakening wasn't easy. One year I went to Max, and that was really my eye-opener that I needed to do something different to get out of prison and go home to my family.
We've been doing corrections one way for so many years that it's the right time and right environment to try something new.
A system that supports the offender or supports the resident or supports the client have opportunities.
They're going to be our neighbors. We need to make sure they have all of the tools to be successful. We can't just assume that they're going to come in, do their time, and be prepared to go right back out into society.
If it's not us and our agency, who is it?
I've seen it many times when guys get out of prison and they start off from the back at the bottom, and it results them back to their old behaviors.
We really wanted to create an environment for offenders to be successful.
There's probably not a human being out there that hasn't needed a second chance. All of us have had a need for somebody to help us along.
Education played a big factor in that. It kind of opened my eyes to the reality I was confined in. I had that passion for learning, so I started learning. Everything I took, I tried to learn something from it, and kind of gave me that drive to make some changes in my life, to be a better person and get out of prison and try to give back to my community.
Does their work trickle across? Of course. They're influencing others, they're talking to each other.
A month after my release, I got hired here at the Salt Lake County Metro Jail as a peer support. This job was already offered to me before I even got out.
This is somebody that's essentially walked the walk and is now there and able to support them.
If they go out to a county jail and their peer support specialist, provide that out in that county jail. If they go to Greene, provide that in Greene. If they go down to Gunnison, provide that in Gunnison. We want this to trickle out and really get the entire Department of Corrections on board with this mentality of we can lift each other up.
With peer support specialists out here in this field, I think we can make an impact and combat that recidivism rate.
Really a game changer for the institution, and we're working, getting it inside the jail and inside the centers.
These offenders can help each other and let us just assist along the way.
It gave me that opportunity to have this job here at the jail. It makes you look at everything from a different perspective, and you learn to be grateful for everything. And the journey just doesn't end when you get out of prison. The journey continues when you're out here. Everybody from the corrections to legislature to the very inmates in your section wants to see you succeed out here.
After being in recovery, it's an unwritten, that we can't keep what we have if we don't give it away. I was in the U.S. Navy from 1983 to 1987 on board the USS Iowa.
It was my first or second year as a brand new probation and parole agent with AP&P.
My addiction consumed me, and he had empathy and said, hey, you need to go get into treatment. Encouraging me to do treatment and allowing me to take the reins and go with that, made all the difference.
Each person that I've come into contact with, they influence you in one way or another, right?
I think seeing people having lives worth living, and it's like, they had something that I wanted. It was profound that, here I am now doing the work he's doing in a different capacity. When I reached out to him, it wasn't really to seek anything other than to say thank you.
It was awesome to see the email come through. That certainly made my day. That meant a lot, actually.
I'm confident that I wasn't his only one, but I think the fact that I'm here now working in my capacity with the Department of Corrections in a substance use program.
You don't hear from everybody, obviously. You do hear from people occasionally, asking questions, so circle back and reach out to you.
I haven't seen him since he told me in Fremont Street, go get into treatment.
Your hair, huh? How you doing, bro? I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. You stuck out, and I don't know why I remember your name all these years later, and I wanted to see everybody succeed. You put me in that direction.
It does mean a lot that you come full circle.
Full circle, man.
I've never had an individual, actually complete probation successfully and then turn around and actually get hired by the same department, which is phenomenal.
I think the full circle, after having been connected to the Department of Corrections or Adult Probation and Parole, and now I'm here on this side working to rehabilitate offenders, it was profound that, here I am now doing the work he's doing in a different capacity, and he was the one that kind of jump-started all of that.
Mentors that I've had that'll help inspire me to do a better job, to be a consummate professional with what we do. He's done phenomenal work, and it was all his credit. It's very inspiring.
The role of audit is frequently misunderstood. People have the impression that we're out to get you.
Really what auditing is how can we be better every time, and how can we fix the issues that come up along the way.
Internal audit is unique because we are a part of the department, so we have a decent understanding of operations.
We're just kind of like the eyes and ears of the department, and we also want to lower the risks as well.
The importance of our role is identifying risk areas and making sure that the department is applying internal controls appropriately to mitigate those risk areas.
We're able to dedicate all of our time and resources and brain power into assessing risks, requesting data sets and analyzing that, and interviews, data analysis, observations, things that we see.
We really look for opportunities to improve collaboration, both within UDC and outside partners. We focus on making programs and operations more efficient in UDC facilities and the community to enhance safety and security for our staff, for the offenders themselves, and for the general public.
We look at risks and if there's any gaps. So let's say there's a policy out there and we look at the policy, making sure that that policy is being followed. And if it's not being followed, we recommend or suggest how to fix those.
We also make sure that once those policies are written, that they're actually being followed through all the way to the end.
There could be committees internal to a division that is assigned to work on process improvement or find inefficiencies or like make proposals for funding. But that's being put upon staff that have other responsibilities, where this is our only responsibility, so we could be fully dedicated.
We report directly to the executive director. We work with him to let him know that that's going to be addressed in the final report. And we also work with the division chiefs and bureau directors throughout the audit. So when they get their final report, there's no surprises. They know what's going to be in the report and what our findings have been throughout the project.
When I do field work and I interact with people, that I say, hey, your recommendation really helped. We were able to get the funding that we needed, or we were able to get this curriculum approved because of the audit that you did. Getting that informal, casual feedback from people is what's special to me personally.
So important to actually keep in mind who you are serving and why. Any position, regardless of your job title, can focus on it is, did you do your best to leave your position, your job responsibilities better than you found it?
We want to raise the standards, right? We want to take that level of raising the standards for people to be excellent. We're adding value into the department so we can mitigate those risks and lower that risk so it doesn't happen.
Our goal here as auditors is to work with leadership to ensure that our strategic goals are being met, that our mission is being met, and that's really where the audit function can really make a difference.
The governor just rolled out what's called the GRIT initiative, and what that stands for is government reform, innovation, and transparency.
This GRIT initiative is really a comprehensive effort to make Utah's government more efficient, more accountable, and more responsive to the people that it serves.
What I think is most exciting about this project is it was an employee proposal. Started at the ground level, literally in this case.
It's not your everyday watering system to where you set it up, you walk away. We'll take that information and monitor your area that you're watering and let you know if your area is depleted, there's not enough water, add more water. If it's getting too much, it pulls back. We'll be a lot more efficient in what we do and how we water.
Putting it all together in a way that we could optimize water use on existing landscaping that requires water.
15 million gallons of water, and it equates out to $65,000 a year. We know what our water usage is.
They even believe we can get as much as a 25% reduction on the current landscaping.
Future growth of that is endless. We can use any state facility and we can set it up to where we have each area at one spot. On your phone, on your computer, and we can go in and look at the watering and figure those costs.
What makes us even better is we have a separate initiative from a different division within the department, removing these high cost, high water need landscaping features.
Our main project has been xeriscaping the property as much as we can.
We worked closely with the greenhouse here, and they selected some water efficient mosquito repellent native Utah plants that would work well in our environment. Doing this, we've reduced the mosquitoes, we've reduced the voles tearing up the grass, we've saved a ton of water.
That together makes either project better. We'll reduce the landscaping that requires water and be able to optimize anything that we have to water in the end.
Our goal is to get rid of as much grass as we can without affecting the inmate rec yards.
Additionally, what makes this exciting is any future increases in, say, water rates and stuff, which we know will come over time, they always do, we'll be able to be somewhat insulated from their effects because we won't be using as much water as we have. If we can save money on some of the expenses that we have over and over and over again and can reinvest those back into the organization, they can go back towards things that can actually change lives.
was escorting some of my mental health inmates down to the chapel for the service, and when I rounded the corner, Chaplain Rob comes running out of our chapel here in Kern and says, "I've got a staff member down." I see volunteer Hines, he's on the ground, has a cut above his head, and he's starting to turn blue, not really breathing. Sergeant Cruz over geriatrics comes down, and me and him start assessing Hines.
And that was a shock, seeing him go down like that. Sergeant Bond ran quicker than I've ever seen him run before to go grab the AED.
Officer Christensen started CPR immediately after that shock was administered. And
kind of went into action as we're trained and got the AED hooked up, and then once it did its shock, we started the CPR and waited for medical to arrive.
When I showed up, Christensen was in the chapel. He had already initiated everything on hands, and I just assisted with him, making sure his head was held still, and as we got things rounded up.
Officer Christensen still continued to do chest compressions until medical arrived on scene and took over.
Medical soon arrived just after that, and by the time they showed up, we had a heartbeat, we found a pulse, and he was starting to breathe normal again.
I'm told that I was talking to one of the prisoners, and then I just went down. I woke up in a hospital. It was a widowmaker heart attack, so I'm very fortunate to be here.
I actually went and visited him in the hospital after it happened, and that's when he told me that the doctors told him if it wasn't for our actions, he would have died. Seeing him actually upright and good spirits like nothing ever happened. When you actually see someone that you've saved, it hits different.
I don't remember any of it. And he told me, "You're very lucky that you don't." But I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the prison. I'm thankful for God giving me more time. And it's a privilege to be able to go to the prison and be a help to the men and women down there that are incarcerated.
Officer Christensen really, I think, was the MVP. I mean, the way he led, and I really look up to him for that.
But I've always been impressed by the way the officers get on it really quick to help the people.
Christensen did take over, and we asked if he needed to be subbed out, and his adrenaline was going, so we did an amazing job with that.
I like the people I work with, and yeah, every day is a little different.
I'd be somewhere else if it wasn't for them. They saved my life, and I say thank you. I think that we all have our time when it's time to leave, and it just wasn't my time.
We'd like to present Don's family with his award at this time and express our sincere gratitude for his time and dedicated service to the department.
He was very dedicated. It was his favorite thing. He loved his work, and he loved his work family. I think that's why he stuck with it forever until he couldn't.
Hey kids, what's going on?
Made a big difference for thousands of people that found themselves in a pretty tough spot.
I'd now like to invite Arlene Lorera up. She's going to share a few remarks.
Don Morgan dedicated 54 years and 9 months to the Utah Department of Corrections. Working with Don was amazing. Everybody loved Don. Everybody who knew Don loved him. And because he had so many years within the department, there were so many people that just knew him.
He was funny, very weird guy. Everyone would agree. He made everybody laugh. He was surprisingly silly.
At the old prison in Draper, we had this very big plant on an end table next to the body scanner. Nobody knew whose it was or where it even came from, but Don took care of that plant. Don later went to go work in the community with APMP, and so he left the plant behind. It started wilting, it started dying, so we were trying to take care of it as much as we could. Summer of 2022, we moved to the new prison in Salt Lake. We almost left to the plant, and so we immediately grabbed her. They named her Darlene, after Don and Arlene. Apparently, Darlene wasn't doing super well. They took her to the greenhouse at the prison, and the inmates helped her make a full recovery. Now, they actually have her in the treatment hall of the substance abuse program, and so everybody can see her. This plant has become a staple in their therapeutic community. This just goes to show how much of an impact and how much an influence Don continues to make within the Department of Corrections with both staff and inmates. Like, we just love and adore him.
He believes that everybody deserved a chance to have a better outcome, no matter where they were from, no matter what they had done. They had a place in his heart. He genuinely wanted to help people, even if it was really hard.
As the longest-serving employee, he was known for his dedication to client rehabilitation, and his ability to mentor others has had a lasting impact.
With Dad is he always made you feel important.
We honor the service and dedication of Officer Stephen Anderson to serve and protect his community, a promise he kept to his last breath. It is our humble honor to have the opportunity to carry on Officer Anderson's legacy and ensure we recognize the ongoing courage and sacrifice of his family.
Words can't express how you must feel, but we can promise you this: his sacrifice will never, ever be forgotten. The legacy that he left behind was a compassionate person who showed kindness to all those around him, and he would be a perfect example of what we would want a correctional officer to be today. Every time we enter this building now, we'll remember Stephen Anderson. His legacy will call us to serve with the same courage, compassion, and commitment that he lived by.
His character defined him. He was just a humble, soft-spoken, good-hearted, God-fearing, family-loving man that is tremendously missed. I will always remember his big smile.
On behalf of a grateful nation, the great state of Utah, and the Utah Department of Corrections, please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for Officer Stephen Anderson's honorable and faithful service.
The day he died, I just happened. I always went into, I hardly ever saw him at work, but the day he died that morning, I was walking in. I always went in through the north gate, and I was walking up to the north gate, and transportation building was right here. And as I walked up, there's Dad. He rolled down the window, and we talked for about 30 seconds. And all I can say is, I just remember how excited I was to see him and be able to see him one last time.
Following Steve's death, there was a lot of great changes that came about. The tragic part is they didn't happen until after he passed. But because of the changes that were made in our department and in the transportation unit, we are truly better forever, and there are changes that will never go away. And so for that, Steve's impact will be here and be felt and be remembered in the Department of Corrections, not only because of this building that bears his name, but because of the changes that were made, because of who he was, and because of what happened to him. Our department, the Department of Corrections, will be forever better because of Stephen Anderson.
I'll get people that will send me memes or pictures, and they're like, hey, thinking of you. They see Iron Man, they think of me. Coming up December, it'll be 22 years. I have the wonderful opportunity to be a trainer, helping people be just better officers, better people, better prepared for what we encounter.
Partridge Group, this is Drew.
With the department, they are faced with unique challenges. It's an important job, and I really respect what the department does and every employee that works there.
April 15th, 2025, I was having lunch with my sister. She got a phone call stating that my dad had been in an accident. As we were walking into the ER, because they hadn't said anything about my mom, it was just my dad. And my sister said as we walked into the ER, she said, well, if they put us in a side conference room, then it's bad news. And sure enough, as we walk in, the social worker says, hey, we're gonna put you in this side conference room.
We're all human. Nobody is immune to going through suffering or difficult times or struggle. I think that that's an essential part of life.
They informed us that my parents were in a car accident and that my mother was killed. It was a rough moment. To know that one moment, someone you love is there, and all of a sudden they're not. So we did our best to accept that news, and we went and saw my dad, and my dad was covered in glass and had cuts on his face and looked pretty beat up. He had already been told about my mom. She was just in the next emergency room over. She looked peaceful, like no cuts on her face,
was peaceful. Earlier that day, I'd had a follow-up appointment for our annual mental health reviews. So I had met with my therapist that morning, not knowing what my day was going to be like.
A lot of times people do think that I can only seek mental health care if I'm broken or under crisis or going through something traumatic. And that's not the case.
I already had that relationship with a therapist. These are why we have these resources available, is because life happens. We don't know when your mom's gonna be there one day and you get to look them in the face and tell them you love them, to know that the next day that's not available.
Everybody experiences grief and trauma in their own way. And so it's not gonna always come out the same. And processing that is very similarly. Everybody's gonna process that in their own way, in their own time, and through their own thoughts.
I was grateful that I already had a relationship with a therapist.
Therapy is really not necessarily about fixing somebody. It is about walking beside somebody while they navigate that path of their own life.
The time for a therapist is not when you're in crisis. The time for a therapist is when you're actually feeling okay. You never know when that life-changing event's gonna happen. And two, have that support.
My role in that is wanting them to be as happy and healthy as they can so that they can better serve the community.
Be that coworker that is gonna say, hey, you know what? Let's care about each other like the family that we claim to be. I think my mom would tell me to continue being the man that she knows me to be.
David and I have been performing together for many years. He's a professional musician that performs all over the world, and I am a pianist, but also in the Utah House of Representatives. Between Mozart, Bach, Beethoven, and Saint-Saëns, and when you hear classical music, it touches your soul.
In the past, I always wanted to come to a prison facility to bring music to inmates. And because the music is, I think, something that can reach out and touch anyone and everyone. So I think it's really a great honor for us.
When we hear good music, and especially classical music that doesn't have words to it, it actually brings us to our center. It brings us to our soul to really think deeply and feel deeply.
Music is meaning of life. Meaning, without music, to me, at least to us, I hope, there's no meaning of life. And then I think this is what makes music so special and timeless.
We have nice and we have mean. And oftentimes we put on the smile and we try to be nice and we hold up this ball. We hold up this big ball that says, I'm going to be nice. and I'm going to hold it and hold it until it gets too heavy, and then I'm going to let it drop. And the opposite of uncentered is still uncentered, because we go from being the nice guy all of a sudden over to being mean. And we pass right by kind. And when the mood swing stops, right at the center, that's where we find kind.
My contribution could be just asking for one act of kindness by one person. When I learned about correctional facility, it was an immediate belief that this is where we should go.
Whether I'm feeling an authentic emotion or whether I'm feeling a counterfeit emotion. And the first of those criteria is connection.
In this correctional facility, there were talented people. They wanted to make a documentary regarding kindness in a correctional facility. This documentary received 3 silver awards. That's beyond anybody's belief. Even if we get 2% of the people who know about this program practice it, we have won, we have succeeded.
The tricky thing is nice is so good at masquerading as kind that we miss the difference. Kind leans in. Nice leans out. It does it with a smile, just like, hey, over there, don't get too close. But it doesn't lean in. And it doesn't have the hard conversations. And kind is willing to lean in. Kind is willing to have those conversations that may be a little bit uncomfortable, but done in love.
What I drew, it just 2 smiley faces, and it says, true love and loyalty is hard to find. To find a true friend in here and just be able to have that good, positive influence on you while you're in a prison it's hard to find. But once you find it, it's great.
The Elevate program is the residential substance use program here at the Utah State Correctional Facility for women. We do substance use treatment, and we have community building activities like Chalk the Walk so that the women have a creative outlet. We are all about gender responsive and trauma-informed care.
This is the walkway that all the inmates take to chow, to education, to visiting, so they can all just look at it and get some good vibes.
We try and have creative outlets for them and different ways that they can help express themselves. Being able to step in and show these women that there are people that care about them and want them to succeed and believe in them is a big part of why I do what I do.
Just stay positive. Like, coming to prison and being in prison is already hard enough. Like, just bring people up, don't bring them down.
It's a voice for the incarcerated individuals to come to the table with our department, and we can work together on problems in the sections, successes in the sections, and just kind of give everybody a voice and work together.
We're setting it up so that we have continuity going forward, that 10 years from now this committee's still handling issues and solving problems. It's helping us to where we don't see that recidivism.
Being able to use all of our experiences to relate to people and connect with people and let them know that they're not alone, that they're not the only one that has gone through this. So empowering and so special.
The decision that was made on the resident side, it was very intentional. For it to be sustainable for years to come, it had to be the right individuals.
It's a novel idea that I've not seen done in the department before, where offenders have an equal seat and an equal say at the table.
I am actually a woman in long-term recovery, and I was handpicked to chair this IAC committee. I think lived experience is most powerful for these women that are currently incarcerated.
I never would have thought like that the inmates and security and staff would all come together and just work as one.
I've been here for 19 years, and I've not seen this collaboration with the offender population.
Everybody in that room is the same, equal. It's a role that I'm very proud to carry as somebody that can speak for the population.
Moving forward with our peer support program, I'm going to be overseeing that and get that rolling for our women to give people hope that recovery is possible.
It's helping me set this up for success down the road so that when I am no longer on the committee, that somebody else can step into my place and the same work's being done.
Leave your titles at the door. You know, everybody who's sitting here right now, everybody's equal.
got to a point with 21 miles, I just really wanted to quit. It was really like a metaphor for life because they sentenced me to 55 to life and I didn't know if I was ever going home. I went from no possibility going home to knowing I'm going home, but just not win. And that win took 5 years. But I'm gonna tell you something how life works. Like you can make lemonade out of anything. During that 5 years, my value shot up. During that 5 years, I completed college. And so my value went up. I used that time to just keep working on me. And then I just kept taking self-help groups. I never took it for granted that I'm getting out. The first time I went to prison, I made a conscious choice. I'm not coming back, I'm gonna go do good. And I meant it. I went home and worked, got jobs, it lasted like a year and a half. But I never dealt with the trauma. So when life wasn't being fair, I went back to the bull crap. I wasn't ready for it, I never healed. The underlying stuff was still there, right? And the career wasn't there. And so I didn't have the things I needed to succeed. I made a decision. I tried to keep it real with that decision as much as I could. But when the circumstances got hard, the decision fell apart because the trauma was not healed, right? And so we have to have these conversations. Somebody has to model that behavior so we could talk about what's really going on. The first time somebody told me to take a group is Maladi Islam, which is like a Muslim version of NANAA. And I'm thinking, dude, I got 55 to life. I've never used drugs in my life. What do I need to take that for? He's like, yo, come on, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be good. I'm like, all right, OG, man, I'll show up. And I show up, and they ask me questions I never thought of before. When you dig under the surface, it's really some childhood trauma. And so they asked me questions to help me identify that. And then once I started having these conversations, I'm like, yeah, but I want to take it out the drug lens. And so I got into restorative justice. And restorative justice, man, at 40-something years old, I realized why I was like on some stand your ground crap. Because I ran when my little brother got shot, right? And every day after that, I felt like a coward. And I felt like I wanted a do-over. I wanted to make up and show that I'm not somebody that would run and leave his little brother behind, right? And so I didn't even know that was my underlying compulsion, right? Until I knew that I couldn't heal. But once I realized that's what it was, I feel like it's important to model that behavior, because if we don't have these conversations, if we don't ask ourselves these questions, then we don't really know why. When I finally got out, like my value was up, right? If I'd have went home before when I wanted to, it'd have been different. It'd have been a much of a different struggle. Now it's like, geez, it's easy, I'm in demand. It's different, right? And so I just use the time wisely, that's all. All these things just became possible by building with community and changing my behavior. And so I just encourage you to take advantage of this community. But there's a new pressure when you get out. Now you can't let the community down. You can't mess up, you can't go back. You can't go back to your old ways. Because now this community invested in you, they vouch for you, they help you get out. And they help you make sure you make it when you get out. And you got help out there. And so this running is not just running, it's community building. And this is the most powerful thing you can do, bro. Why run alone when you can run with a community?
Keep going! Yes! Yes!
When I came to prison, pretty much came very much a broken man. I didn't know really where to start on healing, and I'd pretty much just given up and quit, thinking that I had failed and that's all there was to it. I started really trying to look at some of the underlying factors behind my addiction and started really doing the work. And I also started running. We started putting together a plan and a program. And so we started out with 30 men, and we started by tracking our miles, celebrating milestones, trying to work towards a goal of 1,000 miles in a year.
I love to run. I know what it does for mental health. And so I approached our corrections director here in Utah and just said, how can I help get this started? Let's do something. They've been building up over the year to build up to this marathon today.
It's been very inspiring to be a part of. I'm very grateful to be here today. Number one, as a visitor, and number two, just to continue to see these men finish something they started.
Everyone I've talked to has said how much this helps with their mental health, physical health. This is a corrections facility after all, so giving them extra tools that will help in their daily life when they get out, I think that's what this is for.
My name is Josh Cook. I am a law enforcement sergeant for the training division of the Utah Department of Corrections. And I am in charge of supervising, managing, and helping cadets become successful through the pre-service academy. I've been doing this for about 3 years now. I've been with the department 18 years just last September. Imagine having kids that are all over the ages from 19 years old all the way up to 40, 50 years old. And coming from all over the state, all over even the country. And You can't have one tool, you have to have multiple tools to be able to manage multiple personalities, multiple backgrounds, multiple ages. I care about their success day one, but it definitely becomes a deeper connection towards when they get out of the academy. I still stay in touch with a lot of them. Any of them could call me years down the road, and I still have that relationship with them.
I think he really loves the cadets. He gets involved. I think he loves being a mentor. He loves the interaction with them. I know he loves making them better. He actually does things on a daily basis that gives the cadets confidence in him and makes them know that he cares about them and he's there to make them a better officer.
Day one with the cadets, I asked them by raise of hand, who has been told, don't let this job change you? And I get about 50% of them raise their hands. And I was told that also when I first joined. And it's in our mission to change. This job should change you. This job will change you. It's up to you if you let it change you for the better or for the worse.
Josh is very deserving of this honor. I'm so excited for him. It just helps showcase who he is and what he does on a daily basis, which makes a big difference for the department.
My whole goal from day one, starting in this department, is how can I make something 1% better? And how can I make your job easier, 1% easier? And how can I make life 1% better, or help them correct their behavior 1% better each day? And hopefully by the end of my career, I've made 1,000% difference.
I'm very honored and also surprised because I'm doing the job that I love. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a therapist, and obviously I took a different route. I went into corrections instead. I started here in 2013. When I saw an opening for a recruiter with the department, I applied for that, knowing that I would absolutely love it.
As we've done this great job of recruiting, it's so critical that this is a place that they want to stay and have a fruitful career, and Michael is the exact right person to lead that out for the department.
Right now I'm focusing on staff mental health and wellness. I really want to get people in here to help our staff because they need help. Not only our officers, but people in general struggle with mental health.
She is very committed to making sure that people are taken care of mentally and physically, and she's developed the start of a more comprehensive employee wellness program that really addresses those things.
When I put on that event for the World Mental Health Day, I had so many people tell me thank you, and it was great. And that's the first event like that we've ever had.
But I think the thing that stands out most to me is how much she cares. And it's a genuine, deep, caring compassion for the people who work for the Department of Corrections.
It makes me very happy to help people, especially the mental health part of it.
She's the type of leader who is quiet and steady and creates trust with people by just being Michael.
My supervisors, Maria Shirey and Doug Fossen, they're both very much into staff mental health and wellness, and I love that I have their support. The department cares about them, not just that they're clocking in every day and going to work. So just being able to do this, I really enjoy.
She really deeply cares for the staff and for the people that she supervises. I just can't wait to see what else she has in store for this department as she steps into this ongoing role in the retention space.
I've had a close family member, and I saw the impact on the family, and I just hope through the trainings I'm taking and just the little things I'm doing, just basically being here for people, letting them know that you've got somebody, you're not alone.
Come cuff up or I'll send my dog. He will bite you. Give up now and you won't be harmed. You're gonna have to come get me. 1 second.
Everyone wants to run a dog, right? You're like, oh man, that seems like a great job. I get a dog. And you don't see all the behind the scenes work, you know? I mean, they're responsible for that animal all the time, 24/7, all the time. And there's a lot that goes into that between the care and the sacrifice.
There's a lot of things that people don't realize what it goes into truly being a canine handler. It is a lot of training. It's a lot of work to establish a bond with the dog and to be able to work hand in hand with your partner, with the canine, and to be able to get the job done and provide results.
It's just great to have those kind of staff that are motivated and love what they do and are also looking for ways to help the agency as a whole and creative ways to do interdiction.
Our primary role right now is interdiction of narcotics. Our dogs are used daily to search items and areas, cells, to try to find those narcotics before they get into the wrong hands.
Anybody who comes inside the prison, they come to the screening building. We go there not just as to look for drugs, but we're also there to let everybody know that there is more security here. And we kind of give people some ease of mind that, hey, this is a safe place. And we want to make sure that the whole department is covered, not just the prison.
We've got quite a few dogs here, and just being a resource to not just our department, but through other departments. You know, letting them know we're here to help out, and we got dogs that want to help.
My dog is Canine Donna. She's a Belgian Malinois. She's about 3 years old. She's one of our smaller dogs. She's about 45 pounds, and she has a great nose on her, and she loves to hunt and loves to find for things that are not supposed to be there. Donna's favorite part of the job is when she sees that toy come out of my pocket. And of course she loves the attention. So when she finds something, it's all about giving her praise and giving her attention.
My favorite part is I get to play with the dog.
What's his name?
Rex. He is a German mix. He is about 2.5 years old now. He's got a very pretty coat. Does make a mess though as far as the hair in the house everywhere. His favorite part is to work. He's very high strung. He loves to just go, 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 go.
I just love the dogs. I was just really impressed with the capabilities of what these police canines can do.
It's all about the dog. It really is. It's amazing what these animals can do.
I love the dogs, how they work, the energy they have, and I love how every day is different. The dog's doing all the work. I love that the canine dogs are getting recognition for the hard work that these dogs do.
I've got an awesome team. It's absolutely amazing what they're able to accomplish, both in patrol and detection.
We have very capable agents. We see the impact you guys are having on the interdiction and the tools that those canines provide and the readiness that these guys put into it, so that when we need that tool, we need a patrol dog, we need a narcotics dog, they're ready to answer that call.
As a correctional officer, will be fully aware of the ethical responsibilities of my office.
Over the last couple years, we've hired over 400 correctional officers, which is monumental. We truly are one of the only correctional agencies that's fully staffed or close to fully staffed, and so that's a big deal for us. I'm excited for the direction of the Utah Department of Corrections, and really what I'm mostly excited for, because we've hired so many people, is the opportunity to train these folks, to train all of you in our department how to do things the right way. Corrections has changed, law enforcement has changed over my 23 years. It's important for us to be forward thinking. We are well on our way to being the best correctional agency in the country. Other states are going to look to Utah on how to do things the Utah way. But at the end of the day, it's our job to keep our community safe. We're going to continue to work hard, we're going to work together, we're going to transform lives, and we're going to protect our communities.
The path ahead will not always be easy, but it will be filled with opportunities to make profound difference. You are joining a brotherhood and sisterhood of dedicated professionals who share a common purpose. Support each other, learn from each other, and always prioritize your safety and well-being. To the class of 356, you have earned this moment. Wear your uniform with pride, carry out your duties with honor, and know that you are a crucial part of the corrections team with a mission to serve and protect.
PSA 356! Excellence through discipline!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed?
Service, professionalism, accountability, respect, and knowledge. Those are our values. All of you know those very well.
260 people, to be exact. These are individuals who go above and beyond every single day to make a difference in our department and the communities we serve.
You truly are the spark of our community. They're not just words, they are things that we live by every day. They're things that we aspire to achieve every single day. And you truly do exemplify those values as you do your work.
UDC has seen significant and positive improvements under this leadership from every member of his team. The department is moving forward and leading, as he said, nationally in so many amazing ways. We usually don't use the word innovation when it comes to something like corrections. The innovation that we are seeing in corrections here is truly life-changing. There is a renewed focus, and I think a very positive renewed focus, on the importance of keeping our streets safe, on the importance of holding people accountable. Again, you're innovating. A word that we would normally not apply in this field is happening. and we do believe in second opportunities, but we can only do that if we're keeping people safe. All of the other successes that we have start with the core of government, which is public safety.
And we are going to be the best correctional agency in the country. I believe that because of all of you that are in this room and your peers that are out there in the community doing the work every single day.